guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video we're going to look at the SOTA Street Fighter Round 2 Ken figure, and the preview Ken because it's still Ken, but this is the Ken batch of figures. The preview Ken, built on that bigger Akuma body, is about 6.5, a little over 6.5 inches tall, and the smaller one is a little bit under 6.5 inches tall. So this one's definitely bigger, a little bulkier, and it has different accessories and a couple other different little details, as I'm sure you can see here. We'll get into that in a minute. We're going to set him aside for now. These are all the different versions of the standard Ken. The player one, the GameStop grayish brown, the white one, the purple one, and the yellow one. They're all exclusives at some point from somewhere, but that doesn't really matter. Just know that these are the ones that exist. They all have the same accessories. Of course, the gloves match and the hairbands match when they have hairbands, but otherwise there's the exact same batch of gear. So we're going to set all of these aside, and we're just going to use the player one Ken for the purpose of the review. Accessory wise, he has two fists, as you can see. He's got the fist there and one fist there. He's got one thumbs up hand and one hand for this pose, whatever this is, whatever you want to call that, the butt scratching finger. He has a fireball for his fiery uppercut, because Ryu's doesn't turn people on fire and his does. It's nice and translucent, looks really cool, and it fits over his hand fairly well. It's not as bad as some of the other ones. It doesn't tend to snap in. Sometimes you can get him to snap in, sometimes you can't, but he does have that, and of course it would be up like that anyway. As you can see, it's a really nice accessory. And finally, he has the alternate head. The standard head is just the shorter haired version, which is okay. And then here's the longer haired version, the Alpha Ken, with the ponytail hair bow thing. And I personally don't like this one at all. The head's kind of small. It just looks weird. Actually, I think they both look kind of weird. So Ken's head sculpts aren't really my favorite, but this one I particularly don't like. The paint app is okay though. On this head, the sculpt for the eyebrows does not match the paint, so there's a big chunk of skin next to the eyebrow, so that's kind of a bummer. Otherwise, he's got standard paint applications, a little bit of shading throughout the skin, shading throughout the red gi, and a little bit of shading in the hair. That's about it really for the paint on this guy, the black belt. As far as articulation goes, his head's on a ball peg. It's kind of limited though due to the sculpt of the head, so you're going to get mostly just the rotation out of it, not too much of the up and down or like the rocking side to side, but you can get a little bit to the one direction, not so much to the right, just to the left. So it's okay though, not too bad. Ball peg or ball disc shoulders, so full range of motion there. A little bit of red paint rub from the gi, that's pretty common. It usually scratches off fairly easily, as you can see there. Bicep swivel built in, single jointed elbows, wrist swivel because it's a ball peg, or a ball peg for interchanging the hands, and then of course you have the pivot for the wrist as well. He does have an ab crunch, which is probably frozen. No, it's there. Okay, so the ab crunch is there, and the gi is soft, so it will allow you to use it. Here's a waist twist, and T-jointed ball disc hips, so you have full side to side. The gi doesn't really get in the way too much there. Double jointed knees, shin swivel. You know, those always get stuck. So he does have the shin swivel there. Standard ankle pivot, the cut joint for the ankle rocker, and the toe joint toe pivot. So full standard articulation from the SOTA line for this guy. He's okay. He's not my favorite figure out of all of them, but it's a decent enough representation of Ken. He does have the smooth, non-torn sleeves, so some people don't care for that. Same thing with the ankles. It's different from Ryu on both of those, although I'm having a brain fart. I don't know if Ryu had the torn part or not at the bottom, but I know he has the torn part here. Ken's not supposed to have that, so it's fine with me. Some people say he should. Personally, I don't like that, so I don't get it. Either way, he doesn't have it, so that's good, in my opinion. Let's look at the preview Ken. He does have that, so I don't like that personally. Same thing at the bottom. I think Ken's outfit should be not all torn up. Either way, here he is. He has a different head sculpt, of course. Again, it looks kind of goofy. I don't know why, but I just don't like the way they made him. He's got like a really big upper head. It looks kind of weird. The paint job's okay for the eyes and the face, but it just looks weird. The proportions are off, I think. I don't care for it too much. And he is really bulky. Like I said in the Ryu review, I think I like the smaller proportions better for the two guys. I think this body belongs on Akuma and not Ryu and Ken. But pretty much it's the same figure, same exact articulation everywhere. He has two fist hands, and then he has two open hands, which have the holes for Dan and Ryu to use their fireballs, and Akuma, but Ken does not have a fireball. He does have his Shoryuken, which I don't know what it's called, if his is called a Shoryuken or not. It's been ages since I played the game, so I'm sure somebody can tell me what it's actually called, because I don't remember. But this one snaps onto his hand like this, rather than going inside like the other one. Oh great, I'm going to break the figure, because the hand is frozen. I can't get it. Either way, it snaps on there. And his does actually snap on a little bit, so that's pretty good. But it also makes for a great uppercut effect, so that's pretty nice. Make sure it's nice and translucent too. You don't want it to be too milky. If it's too milky, it's probably a bootleg. So there's the preview Ken, and there's the standard release round 2 Ken. Whichever one you like better, that's up to you. Personally, I like that one better. But neither of them really tickle my fancy, as they say. Not one of my favorite figures from the SOTA batch. But still, as far as action figures go, they're pretty darn nice. So I do recommend you pick them up if you can. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for some more SOTA figure reviews, other good stuff, other action figure reviews, and who knows what else. In the meantime, keep collecting.